Hey Zone 4 Nottingham Hub, hope you're all okay. Never done this before, might never do it again. I got permission first before I did this. Just was reading something this morning and I just thought I'd encourage you. Never normally put my neck out like this to do it. Romans 16:5, Paul says, greet Aquila and Priscilla in the church that meets in their house. Colossians 4:15, he says, greetings to the Laodiceans and Nympha and the church that meets in her house. Just been reading this book, Kaz Grattan lent me, The Grasshopper Myth. And I just wanted to read a couple of things to you. There are millions around the world. Even with the most conservative estimates, most people have voluntarily placed their spiritual lives under our care rather than under the care of any other group around the world. And he is looking at the raw numbers. Conservatively, let's say 2 billion people. Of those 2 billion plus people, well over half of them voluntarily attend a local congregation of less than 350 people. And these are conservative numbers. Why do so many of us feel alone, frustrated, underachieving, and even bitter instead of excited or empowered or vital and needed? Why is it likely that this is the first time in your life you've heard these facts about a small church? I just found that very interesting. We've always been told for years that a successful church is numerically growing. I just thought these were interesting facts that I should read to you. And here are some more. There are approximately 4,000 megachurches in the world, providing the primary spiritual support for about 100 million people every week. And we love those people. And I know in my own heart sometimes I've not had a great heart towards them, and I'm sorry for that. And I've asked the Lord to help me with those things. So churches that oversee with a weekly attendance of 2,000 to 20,000 on the earth minister to about 100 million people at the most. While small church pastors, you and I, this is American, but under 350, but we understand, are responsible for 1 billion people, this is underestimate, under conservative, are responsible for 1 billion people at least. This is what he says. Do you get that? Small churches minister 10 times more people weekly than mega churches do. Over 1 billion people. Listen to this. That's more than any entire Christian denomination, including Catholics, more than the Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists on earth. He goes on to talk about how God has given us a privilege to minister to so many people. And I just thought about that responsibility that we have. And we've lived in inadequacy and insecurity and all those things for years. And yet God has given you and I the privilege to be part of just remarkable things. And I just decided I'm not going to live on that hamster wheel of mentality anymore. I have a friend who is a Canadian, not a Canadian, but a pastor in Canada, British pastor in Canada. And he is what we call an interim pastor. Most of you know what that is. He leads a church for, say, between 6 months and 2 years in the interim period between normally a long-term pastor leaving and somebody new coming. So several years to maybe only 6 months. He said to me last week, the stats are clear that people who minister in all sorts of ways, so teaching, preaching, worship leading, other things as well, not just those things, the vast majority of those people, even people leading large churches, honed their skills in small local churches. So I thought, I'm not going to be on the hamster wheel of numbers for another day. And when Kate, who I've asked permission to do this, I last chatted, we talked about Matthew 16:18, where Jesus said, I will build my church, and it just takes the responsibility from us. And I just thought to encourage you, maybe we've lived in inadequacy for years. Some of us, maybe we don't, but some of us, maybe we do. But God has given you and I the greatest privilege to lead his people, however large or small. And most people put themselves under the voluntary care of you and I, which makes them the largest people group on earth who put their trust in us. And I've never seen it that way before. I just wanted you to be encouraged by that, knowing that you are doing a remarkable job. Actually, the job that you do, many people who lead larger churches could not do because of your skill set and your skill base and the remarkable people that God has called you to be. And I just wanted to know that you must be encouraged because God has got his hand on you for this next season. God bless you. Much love.